Initiating moisture protocol.
Bad Samaritan, bad Solarian, bad Scarrigan, bad salmon, bad marketing. I guarantee you've never heard of the movie Bad Samaritan because there was no marketing for it at all. This movie was dead on arrival. It is in the top 10 lowest grossing opening weekends ever. It's number 8. It grossed 1.7 million on so far, and that's abominable. Usually when I go to see a new movie, the conversation my girlfriend and I have is, should we get tickets ahead of time? Like, what if they're sold out? Or what if the seats are shitty? The conversation we had this time is, are they even bothering to sell tickets to this movie? Have they even heard of it? Are they showing it? This movie I have never heard of until I looked online to see what was playing, and I saw Bad Samaritan, and I assumed it was like a Bollywood movie translation or something, because, like I said, I genuinely heard nothing about this, despite it actually having some talent in this movie, like some decent-sized names. And it's a shame, because this is a good fucking movie. In a nutshell, the movie revolves around a thief who works as a valet. He steals someone's car, robs their house, but while robbing it, he finds that he has a prisoner, a woman, and then it becomes a mission to save that woman, and becomes a game of cat and mouse, and it's really good. It's good. It actually is really good. Now, there's still a lot of problems with this movie. It really drags in some points, and the pacing can sometimes get a little weird. But that's not a huge hindrance. The acting is fantastic, and all the characters are really well fleshed out. And this movie, it really takes everything logical that movies just throw out, and just you have to suspend your disbelief. Like, why didn't the character do this or act this way? This movie calls it out. For instance, when he first comes across the girl, he made a silly decision, and then his friend said, why the fuck didn't you do this? And his excuse made a lot of sense. He was panicking. He didn't know when the guy was going to be home. And it's like, okay, well, that's rational. I understand that. And it does that a couple of times throughout this movie. There's still some bad decisions made, but for the most part, everything is very logical. And if a bad decision is made, they justify it really well, which I have a lot of respect for. It's basically calling out the elephant in the room for having a small wiener. And it's just a refreshing movie, really, because it's just a classic thriller. It doesn't reinvent the wheel. There's nothing super crazy about this movie. It just does by the numbers well. And that's nice. It was nice to see, especially going into this with no expectations, because I didn't even know what it was about. I wouldn't be surprised if there's not a single trailer of this movie on YouTube, which is a shame because it is good, and I feel like this movie would have done well with most audiences because it's just well executed. The tense moments are very tense, and the main complaints I have are it kind of gets a little goofy in the second part, like the middle part of the movie. It becomes a plot of revenge, but it's very petty revenge. It's like, I'm breaking up with you, girlfriend, bitch, and here's a titty picture sent around. That was kind of silly to watch. That wasn't very cool or scary or anything. I get why it's there, but it was just still a very silly segment. But overall, the movie's just super solid. It's not really any twists and turns or anything. It's just a matter of catching the guy and saving the girl and not getting everyone around you killed. Solid movie. Let's plug this shit into the moist meter. I'm giving this a 70%. My main problems with the movie revolve around the dragging in certain points, and also there are some silly scenes in here. And in addition to that, there's also some shit where you really do need to suspend your disbelief, because it seems like there was some very easy ways of catching the guy almost immediately that weren't addressed. But very solid overall. It's worth seeing. I'd be very surprised if this movie even got over 5 million overall in its whole run, because there is no marketing for this. Even walking through the theater where they have every single movie playing with posters, there was no poster for Bad Samaritan. And unsurprisingly, my girlfriend and I were the only ones in the theater. It's a shame, but it's a good movie. That's it. See ya.